dogs out of Clover, from what I've seen, and dogs out of Casey, was actually the Pac-Man dogs. They probably crossed best back on my dogs. We got a lot of good ones out. I didn't cross it, but a lot of guys that had them used Pac-Man and liked them a lot. So.
Russell, same question. How many average dogs did you go through till you got that first really good one?
Hundreds.
Well, that's depressing for all these young guys out here getting into the sport.
I was a slow learner. It took me a long time to learn what I was looking for. Once I learned it, I've done pretty well with it.
Yeah, next question comes from Junior Crabtree in Tennessee. He asks, why have you guys stayed with this, with the tree walker breed so long?
Well, I got out, I got a red dog. But it had a little bit of Shep in him too, in her too. She was half walker.
So yeah, you can't say you completely got out of it then.
No, the Shep dog has done more for me than anything. Any of my dogs, him and Pac-Man has done very well for me.
All right, well, same question for you, Lee. Why have you stayed with the walkers? Any specific reason that you just stuck with this breed?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I bred black and tan female. I think I got one dog with tree. I had a real good little English dog called Little John. I bred him to about 3 different females. I got one dog with tree. I bred my old Deuce dog to Jill and had 5 Grand Night champions out of the first litter. I thought, boy, this is easy. Well, I found out it really wasn't, but that's what really got me hooked on him. And I liked the dog really dug in, and I didn't want a dog coming back, and I wanted a tough dog, and they were tough, so that's what I like.
John?
Well, I've never really had a reason to go any other direction from Fender River Chief, and the dogs that I've got today, they all go back to Fender River Chief, clear back 6, 7 generations, and I enjoy them. I like the way they hunt, their mouths, their looks. They're not mean, they're easy to get along with, so I've just stayed with them. This big, well, when I come out here in 1965, and I've come out here every year since, so that's 53 years. When I get a hold of something I like, I stay with it. I like the Walker Association. They've been good to me, and I hope I've been good to them. So that's why I've stayed with the Fender River Dogs.
All right, my next question comes from Chris. He is asking about what do you feel was your most successful cross, and why do you think it was successful?
You mean with other bloodlines?
Now, just any cross you ever made. Your own breeding crosses that you made.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you. I made a lot of them.
There's none that you felt was the best cross you ever made.
No. I made too many of them. I couldn't tell you. I made a lot of good ones, I thought.
Sure, Lee, you got any cross that really stuck out to you?
Well, a lot of people maybe never heard of it. The best cross I ever made was my Logan's Wild Deuce and Lone Pine Jill. And that was really quite a cross. They were the toughest, hardest going dogs I've ever had, been or since. But great dogs, really enjoyed them. And it really got me hooked really bad on walkers after that.
Russell, same question.
I would say when I bred Striker, Pac-Man's mother, she was a daughter of Miller's Rock, and put Pac-Man, I think Pac-Man, before being a breeder, has put me on the mount. And that's been, my God, I think that was 1980. So there's a lot of world champions and a lot of grandsons and daughters that really done pretty well out of that.
All right, next question comes from Charlie Atkins. We'll stay with you, Russ. In your experience with entire litters, have you seen a better reproducing record from the All-Star in the litter, or one that is more common in ability?
I think it's got to breathability in these dogs. I mean, you know, if I'm going to breed something, I like to look at the anchor of the dam on the bottom side, and that'll tell you more than anything in breeding. All these dogs that I breed, I try to have something solid on the board, on the dam side, on the bottom side. I look at that very, very close. And I also do that in the deer business, and I've created several world champion deer too, broke world records with them.
All right, Lee, same question?
Yeah, I have to agree with Russell on that. It's, female's got an awful lot to do with it. The better the female, the better the use of the litter. But lots of times I've seen, and he asked about whether the all-star or just the average dog, the litter was the best reproducer. I've seen the average one sometimes outproduce the all-star. Just because that dog won a lot of stuff doesn't mean it's going to produce anything.
John?
Well, it's quite controversial on who puts the most into a pup, a female or a male. I don't know how many hundred females I've bred these dogs over 50 years. And I've not been smart enough to figure it out, because you might get one litter that look a lot like the mother and act like the mother. You might make that cross right back again. They look more like the dad and they act more like the dad. They got voices like the dad. So dogs are kind of like kids. You know, it's hard to get two kids to look exactly alike. When you do the twins, you know that. But outside of that, you don't know where you're going to end up with that, where you're going to get 5 female pups out of the litter and 5 males, and the females are going to be the best, or half of them are, the males are the best. Anybody that tells you my idea on it, they say, well, some of these guys are self-appointed genetic specialists. They'll tell you what dog is reproducing the good ones and the bad ones, and I don't think anybody can figure out exactly what you're going to get when you breed. You just hope for the best. Breed the best, do the best, try to get the best. And you can't go by what they've got for the title, whether they're a world champion, or whether they're a Grand Knight, or whether they're not even registered. I've seen dogs that weren't even registered get some good pups. So you got to use your own intuition about, I think this dog and this old female here make a good cross, and hope for the best, because you don't know. I've been down that road before.
All right, my next question here comes from Ronnie Stark in Mississippi, and I think it's a really interesting question here to ask you guys with all the experience you have. But have you guys ever seen a major difference in the first litter as compared to the second or third litter from the same cross? What's been your experience?
Well, I think I just touched on that a little bit. You don't know. You might make a cross, really like them pups, just what you want. You might make that cross again, you're going to say, they don't even look and act like that other than that. You don't know. There's a lot of genes behind these dogs. They're not just all in one pup. They're spread out, and you don't know where they're going to land. They said, I'm not authority on breeding genetics, but you just don't know where they're going to land.
So you feel it's a myth that the first cross is usually generally better than the second or third cross?
No, you don't know. You might make 3 crosses with the same cross, and the first cross you like, second litter you don't like, and the next litter might be like the first litter. Majority of them. You got to go by percentage. Anyway. So you're not going to make a cross and say, man, these are what I want. You make that cross another 3 or 4 times, by the time you get to the 4th cross, you're going to say, I don't think any of them dogs was just exactly like the first cross. He might be better dogs, he might not be with a hoop. So that's my opinion on it.
All right, Lee, what's been your experience, your thoughts on that?
Oh boy. I think a lot of it depends on who you get those pups to. Because there's some people can train them and some people can't. And some people let them stand in the pen. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 crosses, how do you know who handled those dogs? I know people can take a dog out of the dog pound and make a tree. And maybe somebody can win a big hunt that he doesn't know how to get a dog going. So what I've seen most of the time is it'll even out pretty much on the crosses if you get the right genes going in the right place. They're not going to all, like John said, they're not all going to be alike, but that's one nice thing about trying to stay with the same bloodline. You can see traits 2 or 3 generations down that he had back in old Finley River Chief or Finley River Squat. Those traits will come through down the line.
So you never had any reservations about breeding a female and making the same cross more than once or twice?
Well, if I get a good dog, buddy, you better believe they're going to get bred again.
Yeah. Russ, what are your thoughts on that?
I would never breed for one time. I've never had no luck of breeding the same, making the same cross time after time. I've never had no luck. I'd like to clear something up there, what we talked about a minute ago about the breeding there. I wasn't talking about the female I was talking about the dam of the grandmother is what I was looking at. I always look back to the grandmother to breed on the bottom side.
I got you. The final question I have here that came in on their website was, is there a common trait in all the biggest winners that you've had, and reproducers for that matter, that you guys have owned? Was it heart, drive, brains, or what was that one common trait that you had in the dogs that you considered winners? Was there a common trait amongst all of those?
One that could count those coons.
All righty, Lee, same question.
I don't know if any of my dogs could count, but they better have a coon, that's for sure.
Well, you've got to have a dog go looking for a coon, first place. A good strike dog helps, and if you've got a first strike dog, honest one, before the night's over, you can take them second trees and win with a dog, strike a second tree, because the dog that trees second, more times than not, he's going to be a little more hesitant about getting on the tree. Take his time, tree, have the coon. Dog go hunt by himself. They got these dogs today, and I think you guys all know it, especially in an hour hunt. Dump these dogs out, the dog opens up, he's got first strike, and first thing you know, you got 4 dogs trees, but they're all in different areas. By the time you get to the 4th tree, the hunt's over, the dog's got first strikes, won the hunt. That's the way I see it. And I'm not real smart about these PKC rules.
All right, I have one final question I might throw in there. What advice would you give some of the younger guys that are maybe interested in breeding dogs? When to breed or when to stay away from? What advice could you give some of the younger guys here? As when it comes to making a decision to breed.
Well, first thing, you don't want to look at a dog for what he's won. You don't want to go to a dog that, well, this dog has won this big hunt or truck or so much money. Bloodlines, I mean, you can't breed rats and get mice. That's the story. You got to have bloodlines. And you got to have ability. You got to have quality. I don't know how many people today have got that embedded in their minds, what they're looking for. You don't want to look for something that's not going to satisfy you when you get down it because they won a big hunt or a bunch of money. Study your pedigrees. Go hunt with the dogs or whatever you have to do. If they've got good quality, they've got what you like. I knew a guy years ago that every year, ACHA was a big hunt. And he had about 4 or 5 females. And as soon as I found out what dog won the ACHA World Hunt, he run breed them bitches to him, and he sold a lot of money worth of pups. But he didn't do the breed any good. He was more conscientious about his wallet than he was for the success of breeding.
That leads me to my second question, John, that I have as well. Would you suggest to hunt with the sire, or would you suggest to hunt with the offspring when deciding on that sire?
One of the reasons, by golly, I was so happy with Fenner River Chief. Fenner River Spot was a real dog. I think, personally, I'd rather go hunt with an offspring. Because you're not going to get that dad, you're going to get what he reproduces. When you hunt with what he reproduces, then you kind of got an idea of what you got. If you go hunt with an offspring and you don't like him, you're not going to go breed his father unless you don't care. If you're real serious, go hunt with that offspring. And you say, well, I like that dog. I'd like to have one. Then go breed to the dad. Maybe you'll get some of that offspring.
All right, Lee, same question. Any advice you can give some of these young guys interested in maybe breeding?
Well, don't think you're ever going to get rich. I know that. And I very like what you're doing. Kind of like John said, find out the type of dog. Russell might not like what I like, and John's the same way. Find a dog that suits you, and that's what you want to go with. And talking about what you want to hunt with, I don't know. I would probably, if I could do it, I'd like to hunt with a mother and dad and some offspring.
That was going to be my next question. How important do you think that mother is, the maternal side, compared to the paternal side?
Big time. I think the female is very important. So, I've had good luck with it. I've had good females, and I've had real good luck. Sometimes, used to be, if you guys remember back in the day, you could buy a male dog, puppy, for $100. He sold the females for $50.